Guys, there are spoilers for this film and this review. So if you don't want to go missing, go out with film, then come back. You have more. Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ron HD. So yeah, this is going to be a great time. Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ron HD, and this week we watched Shelby Oaks, the directorial debut of Chris Stuckmann, the YouTube reviewer you might know. He also wrote this movie, and starring Camille, Sullivan. It is a supernatural horror film, and I will say, for a first film, for a YouTube content creator, I think this movie's pretty damn good. I very much enjoyed it. I thought the mystery was very well put together. I think the whole movie as a whole package was very excellently well done. But before I go on a whole tangent, boy, I like this film. I'll tell you why I like this film and more. Back at the house.
Welcome back to the Paranormal Paranoids. Today we're taking our first foray into the abandoned town of Shelby Oaks.
Riley Brennan is still missing.
The last night I saw her, she said she saw a man standing in her window, staring at her.
Where is my sister?
Riley.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ronan Time HD, and this week we watched Shelby Oaks. This is a new supernatural horror film written and directed by Chris Stuckmann, who you may know for his internet reviews and general movie discussion he's been doing for over a decade at this point. This film is starring Camille Sullivan, who is the main character, Mia. And this film is just, in general, a very, very good movie. And I very, very much enjoyed it. I think, in general, the film was just very, I guess, tightly written. It was very compact. You know, it didn't feel like there was anything that... It didn't feel like there was anything that unnecessary being shown, you know? Not at all. I very, very much enjoyed a lot of aspects about it, and I think one of my favorite parts about it was just the atmosphere of it. You know, it gave me the chills sometimes, you know? There was, like, some very spooky scenes in there. It spooked me out, if you catch my drift. I know this is releasing after Halloween, but I was spooked in the spooky season. But, anyway, either way, I genuinely feel like this is, obviously, while there's been a lot of good horror this year, this has been a damn good year for horror. I do think I have seen better horror movies this year, but that isn't a knock on this film. That just means this year has been a high fucking bar, okay? There's been a fuck ton of great horror movies coming out this year. Or just horror in general, like horror properties. Either way, I think that this film in general, I really liked I think the opening of it was really good, like the setup to the mystery. I really enjoyed the, like, mockumentary style. I'm always a big sucker for, like, kind of Blair Witch type stuff, like, in-universe. Maybe not, I love Blair Witch, but I think, like, I guess derived from that, I really like mockumentaries that are, like, maybe true crime documentaries or something about stuff like that are in the universe of the movie. I always find stuff like that really interesting, you know? Like, I'd love for there to be, like, maybe series where they make, like, fake documentaries about events from TV shows or movies, just to, like, kind of immerse myself in the world of this TV show or movie, and I always would think it would be really interesting to watch something like that. I don't know if that's just me. It's just, like, a niche interest that I have. However, back to this movie, I think, in general, the opening was very well done, and it set up the mystery very, very well. I liked the aspect, if you didn't really know what the, I guess, extra, or the supernatural force, you didn't really know what it was at first. Originally, I thought it would have been like a ghost or something, maybe something like that, but no. It was an incubus, or a male sex demon, if you are unaware. Which, definitely not what I expected. I definitely expected this to be more of a haunting than a, like, I guess, like a, what would you call this, like a demon? A movie about demons? I don't know if there's a specific word for it. Otherwise, I didn't expect it to be a demon. And I did like Tyrion, his name was. I did really enjoy the fact that you didn't even really get a decent glimpse at him. He was always either hidden in darkness, or you could only really see, like, the glowing of his eyes. I only liked how you could only see tiny glimpses of him. It kind of added to the mystique of him, because you never got a good look at him. I really liked it. It kind of added to the dread, too, because, I mean, you know, it leaves it up to the imagination, right? You know what they say, your mind can come up with something way scarier than the movie could, because that's your own head. You know, you're getting scared, so your brain comes up with something that would scare you specifically, right? So I think that them not showing too much of him is a good idea. Leaves him in, I guess, to be interpreted. Is that the proper use of the word? I think, yeah. Leaves it up to interpretation. Very much enjoy that. I also very much, apparently I read some reviews. The general consensus is that this film is kind of mixed, among critics. Some liked it, some thought it was average, but I, for one, really enjoyed it. And I thought the ending was very good. I really liked the whole build-up of the demon baby that Riley, Mia's sister, that she'd been looking for the whole movie, had given birth to. But obviously, kind of like a Rosemary's Baby situation. It's like demon spawn, right? It's evil, right? So she has to, and obviously, well, the baby itself isn't necessarily evil, but it's being controlled by an evil force, if that makes sense, right? So obviously, the demon will possess that baby in a way and use him to commit evil acts, you know? So obviously, Riley was the only one that knew of the evils that baby could commit, so she tried to kill him, but then it went bad because Mia, for some reason, didn't know what was going on, even though she was there, and she saw the witch, like, cursing the baby, so that was a little weird, how she didn't pick up on that baby being evil. That was a little strange. But they were like, she was trying to smother the baby to kill it, and Mia's like, what are you doing? Don't do that, and they, like, wrestled with the pillow, and then Riley fell out the window and was devoured by hellhounds, right? And then Mia was screaming, and then Tyrion came over, put his hand on her shoulder, and basically took control of her, and she became what the old woman was in the house earlier, like, literally before, who had Riley captive. It was a nice little full circle moment, and it was a very good ending. Well, it wasn't good for them, but writing-wise, it was a good ending, right? It was a satisfying ending, maybe is a good way to say it. It's not a good ending, necessarily. It is well-written, but it's satisfying due to the themes and the way the film set it up. But apparently I've heard critics say that it stumbled in the ending, and I personally don't believe that. I think the ending was one of the best parts of the film. But I guess to each their own, right? To each their own. However, I've just been rambling on and on about this movie, but I genuinely did enjoy it. Obviously, the movie isn't perfect. I did think, like, at the end, Mia not picking up on the baby being evil is kind of strange, because she did see the witch basically, like, curse the baby a little bit, so I thought that was a little odd. Maybe she just wasn't paying attention, I guess, to what she was saying. The film was not perfect. I do feel like, though, it is a very, very, very solid and very, very well done horror movie, especially for a debut. Very well done. So, I would recommend this film for horror fans, and I do think Chris Stuckmann genuinely has a lot of talent. I wish him continued success. I think, especially for a directorial debut, I think this is very, very good for a debut. You know, I think that's very, very good. And I genuinely hope to see more of his films in the future. Hope he keeps doing what he's doing. And with that being said, would I recommend this film? I think if you're a horror fan, if you've enjoyed horror films this year, I think this is another movie you could add to your collection of watched horror films this year, if you have that, because I do. However, if you don't even, I think this is just a very solid film, and you can get a lot of enjoyment out of it. I think it's very solid all the way around. I think it's exceptional in some places. I think it's very excellent in some places, and I would highly recommend it. Now that I've said all this, what would I rate this film? Well, you know, I don't think I'm being too nice. I think genuinely how I feel about it, not recency bias, nothing. I think this film is an 8 out of 10. And, yeah, I think I've said what I need to say. I think I've said my piece. So, guys, hope you like this video. Share it with friends. Subscribe. Turn those notifications on. Comment down below and see you liked it. And I've been Run to HD. off to find my sister. So, I was watching this movie, right? And at the beginning, they had like there was like a 20-minute thing that was like a whole mockumentary style, like if it really happened. And I really enjoyed that part of the film because this is one of the main reasons. It's just like a side reason. They had like a bunch of cameos from like horror YouTubers, and I'm like, that's Chills, Nightmind, Rainbot. I used to watch you guys when I was a kid. I still do to get the nostalgia. I just wish there was a Scare Theater cameo. That would have been nice. I know he wouldn't, but I would have liked it either way. If you don't know who that is, you're not cultured. Yeah, I don't know, I'm just rambling. Like the horror YouTuber cameos, those are fun.